Welcome to the ASDRP Researcher Interview Series. Today, I'll be talking with Rohan Vijayvikram. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So we'll just jump right in with the questions. Tell me about how you got started here at ASDRP.
Sure. I learned about ASDRP through a friend of mine who was doing biology research there. He told me how it was a really great opportunity for high schoolers to understand research before going into college. So I took his advice and I applied during the summer before my junior year, and I got in.
That's awesome. And are you a senior right now?
Yeah, so I'm a senior at Amador Valley High School in Pleasanton.
Awesome. How long have you been, so how many years is that at ASDRP?
Right now, at the end of the summer term, I should be coming up on 1 year, completing.
Oh, nice. Congratulations on 1 year. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So how long, oh, sorry. Who is your research advisor?
Yeah, so my research advisor is Sahar Jahanikia. She's a very great advisor and has been a very amazing mentor along the way. I came into ASDRP knowing almost nothing about neuroscience, but she was really able to expand my knowledge on the field as well as help to cultivate my passion and curiosity for the sciences.
That's awesome. That's really amazing to hear. And so what specific projects have you been working on this summer?
Right. So interestingly enough, I'm working on 2 projects this time. So my first project, which is one of the ones I'm working on, I joined when I first started ASDRP, and the group is titled HCP Dummies. So essentially in this group, we are learning about the Human Connectome Project, which is a project that focuses on mapping out all the neurons in the body. And we are taking that research and converting it into an easily understandable book. So currently for that group, we are in the process of publishing. So fingers crossed we do get a publisher. For my second group, it's titled COVID Fatigue. So in this group, we are studying how fatigue and other symptoms brought by COVID have been affected in terms of severity and how that can affect the recovery as well as the physical and mental well-being. And so within this group, since it's more of a new group, we just started to learn statistical analysis and a little bit of data science using programming languages like R.
Wow, you're involved in a lot. Both of those research groups sound really fascinating. Have either of them been a longer ongoing project here at ASDRP, or how has your research cycle worked?
Sure. So when I first joined, I looked through all the projects and I saw that Sahar was doing some projects in neuroscience, and I thought this might be an interesting opportunity for me. So I joined her group. And so the group that I first joined, which is HCP Dummies, started in the summer before I joined. And so I just joined that group and kind of assimilated right in. And since it was kind of new, it was really easy to just kind of join in and go with it. The other group that I'm doing, COVID Fatigue, started like exactly this summer. And so this is also, like I said, more of a new group. So that's basically the cycle.
Oh, super cool. And as you're learning about new things, how do you feel your learning process has been? Has there been a big learning curve for any of the projects you've been working on?
I would say whenever you're starting a group, there's always usually a big learning curve because sometimes the topics can be new to you. I mean, unless you're going into, like, if you already have like coding knowledge, for example, and you're going into a coding group, it might not be as big of a learning curve. But I still feel like no matter what, there is a learning curve because a lot of the times when you're doing research, especially as a high schooler, it's very new. And so I think for me, there was a bit of a learning curve near the beginning. But once you start to get into it, and even if you need help and ask for help, right, it starts to become a lot easier and a lot more like I know what I'm doing.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. What has the team environment been like? What has it been like working with fellow researchers?
It's been really great. I've met a lot of new people, which I found to be very amazing. I've made a lot of new friends. And especially, I think it's amazing to have a lab group whenever you're doing a research project, because it's almost like they're there to support you. They're there to help you if you don't understand anything. And it's also been really great just to help me learn and kind of cultivate my passions.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. So what has been one of the greatest challenges that you've encountered in the research process?
Greatest challenge. I would say the biggest challenge would be understanding some of the material. Sometimes when we delve into pretty high level topics, it can start to get a bit confusing, and a lot of time you can get lost in the grand scheme of things. However, I was able to kind of overcome this challenge simply by researching the topic more and making sure I ask for help from both my lab group.
Nice. That's good. How much time do you feel like you spend outside of lab preparing for the work that you do?
I would say it's about probably 10 hours. It might be a little bit more now that I'm doing two groups, but I would say it's close to 10 hours because a lot of it is just kind of doing your own research besides doing the lab group meetings, kind of talking with your teammates, arranging Zoom meetings, doing data analysis or whatever you're doing. So I would say it's about 10 hours.
Oh, cool. And so that's like 10 hours per week?
Yeah.
Okay, so is a lot of the work that you have been doing like take home outside the lab, and what kind of things are you analyzing at home?
Right. So because both of my groups are online, pretty much all the stuff has been online stuff. So for example, for my COVID group, we used sample data that we just randomly created, and then we were able to analyze it and then create a presentation which we presented during the Zoom meetings. There have been other instances, such as in my other group with the HCP, where we kind of research a topic, we do Zoom meetings together, and then we collectively come and present our presentation to Sahar. So a lot of it has been just kind of like doing your own research, kind of understanding the topic. And of course, if you have any questions, you could ask her. But a lot of it is kind of understanding the material on your own. So it is a little bit independent in that sense as well.
Oh, that sounds very cool. So do you feel like you're building some of like the self-sufficiency skills?
Yes,
And
definitely, 100%.
that's awesome. So you'll be ready to be leading your own group in no time. That's super cool. I'm also curious in what you have found the most rewarding about your experience here.
I think what has been the most rewarding is seeing how our research grows over time. At first, when I joined the HCP group, for example, it was only a mere 10 pages, like the book consisted of only 10 pages. Now looking back on it, where we once were, I've seen how much we've both grown as a group, as well as how much time and effort we've put into creating this kind of masterpiece, and also looking forward to see how our research will be able to impact other people. I think that's really amazing.
That's super cool. Where do you see your research going in the future?
Hopefully, so for the book, for example, right, we're looking into going to college presses like MIT Press or Harvard Press. So hopefully we're able to kind of publicize our research enough so that almost everyone in the world can see it. Of course, that's kind of a big goal, but you know, I hopefully that's the end.
Yeah, you guys will do it. You guys are all amazing. That's a super great goal. That's super cool. And then my final question is, what advice would you give to any new researchers looking to join ASDRP?
Sure. So some advice I would give to future researchers is to explore different areas. I didn't think I'd be interested in neuroscience when I first joined, but looking back on it now, I don't regret my decision. Another bit of advice I would recommend is to ask for help if you need it. Like I said before, you do research into some pretty high level topics, so it's important that you don't tackle these things alone and recognize that there are people out there to help you. The last bit of advice that I have is to be proud of what you have done. Getting into ASDRP and publishing research is no easy task, and even research without publishing anything is still pretty noteworthy. So those are the bits of advice I would give.
Awesome. That's great advice. That sounds good. Yeah, definitely everybody should be super proud of themselves. And thank you so much for talking with me today. It's been awesome to learn about your research. Super well spoken. I love to hear all of you guys speak from your own words about what you're working on, because it sounds so much more exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much and have a great day.
You too. Bye. Thank you.